For reading through the Bible in a year in the 1 Year Bible, and this is the devotion for September 8th, and we'll look at the Old Testament. We're starting the book of Isaiah, so we have Isaiah chapter 1 verse 1 through chapter 2 verse 22. You'll notice as we go through Isaiah that Isaiah's call isn't until chapter 6. Why is that, and what's going on here in these first 5 chapters? Well, it's not too complicated, so don't worry. These initial chapters are like a preface or a prologue. They depict the situation into which Isaiah was called. So these chapters contain Isaiah's oracles, but aside from chapter 1 verse 1, there are no historical connections or references that are made. The author of Isaiah simply gives us the anatomy, so to speak, of Judah at the time when Isaiah began his prophetic activity. This detachment from historical references is intentional, of course, and it helps with the purpose of presenting the truths about Judah when Isaiah began his ministry. And it also gives us a glimpse into Isaiah's fears and hopes. So these first 5 chapters are like a backdrop to the whole book of Isaiah. Today I'll simply summarize their content. Chapter 1 reviews 3 different aspects of the scene into which Isaiah was called. There was national calamity, chapter 1 verses 6 through 8. There was religious decline, chapter 1 verses 10 through 15, along with social collapse like we see in chapter 1 verse 21. And all of this arose from rebellion against God, as we see in chapter 1 verse 2, from crime, as we see in chapter 1 verse 15, and unfaithfulness, as we see in chapter 1 verse 21. Then in chapter 2 we start to see another side of the coin. There will be a day when Zion will be a place of international pilgrimage, chapter 2 verse 2. It will be home to the law of the Lord, chapter 2 verse 3. It will be the source of a worldwide righting of wrongs, and it will be a place of peace, as we see in chapter 2 verse 4. There is a stark contrast between this outlook and the sad state of affairs in Jerusalem as Isaiah begins his ministry. We see this in chapter 2 verses 5 through 16. Jerusalem is characterized here by the utter falling apart of the religious life of God's people. So there is a contrast between the ideal and the actual. The Lord intended for his people to live as his children, for them to be a city community of worldwide blessing and to produce the fruit of righteousness. The actuality proved to be very different. Will darkness have the last word? Will sin bring forth death? And if it does, what will have become of all of the promises of God? These are the burning questions that present themselves at the beginning of Isaiah's prophetic ministry. May God be with you and bless you, and I'll look forward to talking with you again very soon.